This woman is going to tell you what she has taken away from the whole food stamp, SNAP benefit cut situation here in the United States of America. And then we're going to come back and talk about what she's taken away from all of this.
What I've taken from this whole SNAP benefits being cut situation is that as a society, a lot of us grew big balls, and not in a good way. A sense of entitlement that has completely replaced gratitude. How do you look yourself in the mirror and be comfortable with the fact that you spend your days hating groups of people based on their political beliefs or their votes, hating them on either side? This goes for both sides. And then turn around and say, fuck, but I lost your money. No. If you're going to spend your life bullying people, you better make damn sure that you are not going to turn around and then ask them for their paycheck. That's insane to me. Insane. I pay my taxes. I don't ask where they go. I just pay them, right? And the same people cashing in my hard-earned money are then turning around and sending me death threats because I'm a Republican. Who gave you the balls? Who gave them to you? How about instead of feeling like you are owed and entitled to people's money who have no idea who the hell you are and have no obligation to you and your family, you just start being grateful that you even had it in the first place? Instead of being pissed that you're losing it for a month, I understand it's going to be a struggle, yes, and you are entitled to those feelings of pain, suffering, struggle, whatever it may be. It's fine. But how about you be grateful that you even had that in the first place, instead of getting mad at the very people who even gave you that privilege in the first place? It went from, yeah, people are complaining about having to spend 40% of their paycheck on these social programs, whether they're willing to or not, but we do it because we're an American. We're proud to be Americans. We care for our neighbors, okay. To now, everyone must be okay with giving their entire life's work to everyone else except for themselves. And if you complain or disagree or have any issue with it, you are a disgusting, bigoted, hateful, heinous person that doesn't care about anyone but yourself, and you have zero human empathy or emotions. I smell the entitlement through the phone. How do you get there? You're a grown adult. You're not a little bit embarrassed that you spend your entire political presence or online presence shaming and bashing the people whose checks you cash in just to put food on the table that is not their problem? That's a little embarrassing. And now I will leave you with a quote from the great Thomas Sowell. I have never understood why it is greed to want to keep the money you have earned, but not greed to want to take somebody else's money, especially when in return, you just turn around and bully them.
So a lot to unpack there, right? I mean, she keeps talking about her paycheck and other people's paychecks without putting into consideration at all that a significant chunk of people on government assistance work as well. See, that never really seems to enter their equation, right? They always view it as their money. They never view the people getting the assistance as also having been somebody that pitched into the fucking tax base in order to make something like this possible. They just don't make enough, even with sometimes 2 and 3 jobs. But see, that never enters the equation to people like this. You talked about entitlement replacing gratitude. No. Starvation, hunger, desperation is what's replacing what's going on in this country. People wondering how they're going to put food on the table. People wondering how they're going to feed their children. People wondering what bill they're going to stop paying in order to be able to pay the grocery bill, which keeps going up, by the way. You kept talking about people being, wanting your check. Nobody's asking for your check. You said that how about being grateful instead of being entitled? Who says they weren't grateful? Did you hear from these folks before Trump cut off, or the federal government cut off their SNAP benefits, and then Trump fought against paying them? Did you hear from them on a daily basis? No. Did you hear from them on a weekly basis? No. Did you hear from them on a monthly or quarterly or annual basis? No. You only hear from them when they're going, hey, wait a minute, we're starving, man. Who says they weren't grateful? You're making an assumption there. And then you get into some really fucked up numbers here. 40% of your check goes to these services? You're damn right when you said, I don't know where my money goes, I just pay my taxes. Because if you think 40% of are you even paying 40% of your check? Because if you are, with all due respect, your accountant fucking sucks. Sucks. 40%? I think my tax rate when all was said and done last year was like 12%. If you're giving 40% of your check to the federal government, you need a better accountant. Moreover, 40% is not even fucking close. If you make like $80,000, I think the number is, that you pitch in under $40 a year for SNAP benefits. That's what you're bitching about. You're bitching about having to pitch in whatever your pay is, adjust for it, under $100 a year for benefits, and here you're going to actually make a video gaslighting who, yourself or your followers, into believing that 40% of your paycheck goes to this, and then you follow that up by going, people think that they're entitled to your entire life's work. Your quote. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't even feel the money that is taken from your paycheck for programs like this. If they put it back in your check tomorrow and you never had to pay it again, you wouldn't notice a difference in your check. You wouldn't feel it. Poor people would feel it. The ones that are still working and on this assistance, they sure as fuck would feel it. I guarantee you somebody like you wouldn't feel it. You're not even coming close to paying 40% in taxes overall, let alone just social services. And then you talked about how folks on the left talk about how you don't have empathy, you don't have humanity. Well, I got news for you. If you can watch people lose what little assistance they have, if you can watch people get desperate enough to line up in the rain for 3 fucking hours to maybe get something from a local food bank, and that doesn't move you at all to realize that what your side, you said you're a Republican, what your side of the political aisle is doing in this country, then you are not human. You have no humanity. You have no empathy. You are a cold, lifeless vessel. You left us with a quote. Now let me leave you with a quote. I put some quotes in the back of my first book. For those of you that don't know, I've written 2 books. This is the first one. It's called A Grateful Life, the life story of a husband, father, and taco-loving deadhead. It is the story of the first 45 years of my life. And in the back of this book, I put a couple of pages of my favorite quotes. You left us with a quote. Let me leave you with a quote. The world is my church, all mankind my brethren, and to do good is my religion. Thomas Paine.